Welcome to I'll Be There, the ultimate wedding podcast by Priya
and Nim
from Pristine Events. Whether you're a bride-to-be
or a groom gearing up
or just a wedding lover at heart, we've got you.
Welcome back to the next episode of I'll Be There by Pristine Events. I'm Nim.
I'm Priya.
And today we're going to be talking about proposals.
Yay, I love proposals, and I think it's a topic that doesn't really get a lot of airtime in terms of like planning them, how to plan them. So hopefully we can delve into our proposal and give some general tips for groom-to-bees.
Sounds like a plan. Let's hope the grooms are listening to this podcast.
Yeah, and also if there are any soon-to-be engaged girls out there, feel free to send this podcast to your boyfriends just for a little like inspo.
And everyone you know, so that we get some traction.
That as well.
So to start off with, obviously I need to pick the ring.
Yeah.
People do this in many different ways. You go to Hatton Garden or your local sort of diamond area and have a look at loads of different shops. I went with a recommendation from a friend, picked a diamond, go through the 4 C's. I'm sure if you're in the process of planning a proposal, you would have heard about these, but go through all of those, find out what fits your budget, and then you picked a ring. I picked a ring. And then I decided on where I wanted to do the proposal. So you have the choice of doing it locally, doing it abroad. I decided I wanted to do it abroad. I wanted to make sure that you were extremely surprised by it. So started sort of laying some groundwork to do that. The next step, and probably the most important step, was to get permission. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure I knew that your dad was going to say yes, but had to formally ask him. Got the permission from your dad and then started the planning part of it. So wanted to find somewhere that you'd be extremely surprised. So as I said, I picked somewhere abroad, spoke to your sister, your family, ensured that you were basically going on holiday. And then I surprised you while you were on holiday and proposed while we were out there. You didn't know I was there. I just sort of turned up on the day.
Yeah, that was a real shock.
Yeah. One thing that I did do actually before we went out is that I contacted your work to make sure that you had some extra time off, so that once your sort of family holiday finished, then I proposed, and then we had a couple of days to ourselves. Immediately after the proposal, then I planned a dinner. Your family were there, my family were there, and then we came back to the UK, and that was pretty much the gist of things.
Yeah, that was a very good summary of everything. Although you've done it in a very chilled out way, where actually there was a lot of stress involved because it was COVID time. I had no idea, so I was trying not to go on this family holiday because I wanted to save my annual leave for mine and your holiday, plus weather issues. There was like loads of things that went on, but actually it ended up being the most perfect proposal.
Thank you.
Yeah, so all your hard work paid off. So I thought what we'd do is we could go through like a step by step. I know you've kind of done it briefly in terms of what you've done, but in terms of like if you were starting out, so the first thing would be obviously deciding to propose. So I think as a guy, how do you know when you are ready to propose?
I mean, obviously this is going to be completely different for everybody. I think most girls kind of give you the signs that they're ready. Particularly if you're the same age.
Yeah.
I find that, and you've been in the relationship for probably more than a couple of years, I think you'll start to get, especially if you're around the age of 30, I think people start
late 20s. Or if all your friends have started to get engaged.
I mean, that's really sort of like generalizing. I mean,
Yeah.
there's people who get married or get engaged when they're sort of 35, 40, 45, 50, beyond if they're having their second marriage. But yeah, no, I think typically from people that we know and a lot of our clients, it's normally sort of around, as a guy, you're approaching 30, and as a girl, probably late 20s.
Yeah. But I do think like when your friends start to get engaged, that's when you start to think about it more.
Yeah, but I mean, someone has to get engaged first for you to start thinking about it.
Yeah,
right?
true. But I mean, like, I suppose for me, it was more like all of my friends were slowly starting to get engaged.
Yeah.
And then...
So you just did it to jump on the trend?
No, I also did it because I was very aware that I was like, well, as in I started thinking about it because I was like, well, if they're all getting married now, it means that the majority of them do want children, so they'll probably have children soon after. And then I guess I just didn't want to feel like...
You didn't want them to be knocked up for our wedding.
I didn't want them to be knocked up for our hen. Well, my hen, more importantly. But like also you kind of want to feel like you're still going through things at roughly the same time. Like you don't want, I didn't want to feel like I was going through wedding planning like years after my friends, because then you're kind of just in different stages of life, which I know is normal as a woman because you plan weddings and kids at different times and you can't always be in sync. But for me, I wanted to at least go through some of the motions at a similar time to my friends, and so that's when I started thinking about it. So then once you've kind of decided you are ready to propose, and let's say your girlfriend's been giving you some hints, either obvious or not so obvious ones, you're then going to think about the ring.
Yeah.
So this is quite controversial. So do you think that the girl should design the ring beforehand? Do you think ring shopping is important? Do you think like beforehand, or do you think it should be entirely the groom?
I mean, I don't think it's controversial. I think it's just depending on who you're proposing to, right? You're quite a particular person and you know what you like. And I think if I just went to the shops and just picked something that I like, you would probably have said no.
What do you think you would have actually picked if I'd given you no direction?
Oh, I don't know. Probably the same thing.
Yeah, I think you would have. I didn't.
By the way, like you didn't design the whole ring yourself.
No,
like,
I know.
I knew what you liked.
Yeah.
And I made it sort of my
special.
own.
Yeah. I actually was quite chilled. I just said I wanted a certain shape.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I probably would have just got a platinum band and a nice diamond.
Yeah, fine, fair enough.
Just like what you imagine an engagement ring to be.
To be like,
in
okay,
your
fine.
mind. Or at least a guy most guys, me, imagines a diamond an engagement ring to look like when you propose.
So I think you.
I didn't realise there was that much to it in terms of like the shape and then even the colour of the band. I just assumed that everyone got a platinum because all the ones that I'd recently seen were platinum.
So I guess that's why you need to A, do your research before.
Yeah.
And B, I guess gauge from your girlfriend, like, is she particular? And I'm sure she would have said, I want you to completely design it, or actually I'm really particular, or actually I don't really know what I want, so let's go ring shopping together. I personally think, as a girl, I feel like if you are going to wear, you are going to wear that band hopefully for life. So I feel like if you are particular, you should go ring shopping before. At some point, it doesn't have to be directly before, so you can kind of throw her off. But I think it's really important to do that, and then to gauge the shape, the thickness, the style of band, like how high you want the diamond to be set, like all these different factors, like you said, that you don't realize until you see it on your hand. So I think it's a really good thing to try and take her ring shopping.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think maybe you're remembering things differently, but I don't remember having a conversation about the thickness of the band and how high the diamond needs to be. Like, I knew what sort of style you wanted, and most of those decisions came from myself and my diamond guy.
Yeah, but I'm not super picky. But
my
if you
diamond
were,
guy makes it sound like I like buy diamonds regularly. I bought one diamond from him,
but I just feel like you see a lot more options. And back then, I didn't really know that much, so I just kind of went and was like, I like this shape, I like this band, that was it. But like now, especially with social media and everything, there's so many different options. I think you do know a bit more, so it would be good to go and try on. So I think that's really important. And like you said, to discuss the 4Cs with whoever you're going to get your diamonds from.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on that. I think once you've found a diamond guy that you're happy with, I think you should sort of have that conversation with them and then see what can fit your budget. I went with a friend who used this same guy, and I think that was really helpful.
Yeah.
One thing that I would suggest not doing is going with your soon-to-be bride's family, i.e. their sibling or their friend. And that's not because they're not going to be really helpful. They will be really helpful. They'll know probably exactly what your soon-to-be bride wants. I just think when it comes to budget, they might be too biased towards getting the best possible ring ever. And I think sometimes that can sort of throw off your budget, whereas going with somebody who's sort of on your side means that you can sort of more easily say, look, this is my limit. This is what we're going to get. I think have that conversation. I mean, that's my preference.
I think it depends, but I also think if you are going to take one of your friends, then it needs to be someone that hopefully has already gone through the process.
Yeah. I don't
not
mean
just like a random single friend of yours who's just coming along.
Which one of my single friends are you implying that you wouldn't want to come ring shopping with me?
Got a few I can think of.
You know who you are.
Yeah, but I just feel like it needs to be someone that's gone through the motions and can give you like genuine advice.
I mean, a couple of other things actually on that point. There are the two other options, right? There's the sort of lab-grown diamonds.
Yeah.
And there's also family heirlooms.
Yeah,
that's
really sentimental.
With rings that their grandma have given them, and I think that's really nice.
Yeah.
It's a nice touch. Also means that you don't have to think about things a lot.
Yeah.
And save some moolah.
Yeah, that's true.
But most importantly, I think it's a nice touch to have something that means something to you.
Yeah, agree.
And there's a fourth one actually, a dummy ring.
Yeah.
So if you haven't gone ring shopping, maybe because your soon-to-be bride isn't expecting it, which is obviously like great because the surprise will be fantastic. You can just propose with a dummy ring, and that can literally be. I mean, Temu have a lot of quite cheap rings.
You can't get a dummy ring off of Temu.
Why not? It's a dummy ring.
Yeah, but you can't. Like,
yeah, but the other
naff.
dummy rings cost like over £100.
Yeah, but that's still like.
But why spend £100 on something which is fake?
Yeah, but
you might as well get something from Temu that they're going to wear once, and then you can go shopping for a tenner.
Sorry, I didn't realize you were Temu's brand ambassador. But
How
anyway,
do you
I
got
just
sponsored
feel
by
like
Temu?
it can't look like naff in pictures if you are going to have
They
pictures.
don't look naff. Let's get some from Temu
Yeah.
and we'll bring them on the next
Temu,
episode.
please sponsor us to
Yeah.
look at your mock diamond rings. Okay, fine. So they're good options. So either go ring shopping before, or and then obviously discuss 4Cs, lab grown versus real diamond, or get a dummy ring or family heirloom, which if it works for your partner and your family, then that's an amazing option, really sentimental. And I know actually a couple of brides that have done that, but then they've taken the diamond or the stone and then they've changed the band, so you're still keeping that but you're making it personal to yourself, which is also a nice option to combine the two.
Yeah.
Cool. So then next up, what do you do after that? Get permission. So
Yeah.
I think I'm really traditional, so I feel like you should always get permission from whoever it is, like a parent, an uncle or aunt, a grandparent, whoever's important to that person.
Yeah, I think permission sounds a bit sort of juvenile. I mean, it's not like you're getting permission for a
Blessing?
school trip. Yeah, they're blessing. I think
That's
that's
a
a better
nicer
way of
word,
putting
yeah.
it. Because hopefully you have a good relationship with your soon-to-be in-laws. But I think it's a nice touch to, first of all, let them know it's happening,
Yeah.
but also just kind of let them know that you'd be taking their daughter or sibling away from their, not away, but taking them, well, I guess, yeah, kind of away, but going to be looking after them for the rest of their lives. I think it's a nice touch, and I think there's different ways of doing it. In my case, I took your dad to the local drinking house, which was nice, and it was very casual, but it was nice. It was intimate. It was a nice pub, actually.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was, obviously you're the first person in your family to get married, and he was emotional and he loved it, and I think it was a nice touch. I think there's other ways you can go somewhere super formal.
Yeah.
You can just ask them in the house. Some people I know do it in a sort of religious place, depending on how religious you are. So like either going to a temple and asking them. My brother-in-law asked my dad when he asked for my sister's hand in marriage at a family bhajan, which is nice because it's again sort of religious, cultural, and I think that's a nice touch.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's nice to do, and I think also, I mean, I'm really like
Extra.
no, not even extra.
sorry.
I'm very like old school romantic, so I think it's really nice as a guy if you like say a few sentences about like why you love their daughter
Yeah.
and how you're going to look after her and
Yeah.
how you plan to not take her away but just take her into this new chapter of your life and stuff. And I think especially if you're close to your family, it's quite a big moment as a dad.
Yeah.
So I think it's nice to feel like you're involved in it personally, but obviously it depends on your relationship with your family and things.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. And then picking the venue or location, which
Yeah.
is really tricky, I think. What
Yeah.
would your tips be on that?
Yeah, it's hard. I think it depends on how big a surprise you're making it.
Yeah.
So if you live in London or whatever city you live in, if you're going to be doing it somewhere where you live, I think you've got a lot more options and it's going to be a lot easier. Hopefully you plan date nights or events, or you've got friends' birthdays. You can always just make up something and say, hey, we're going for dinner for this special occasion, or hey, my friend's doing something, or hey, we've got this work event, you need to dress up. I think there's lots of ways of doing it. I think if you're going to go for the sort of big surprise and you want to do it abroad, I think that's when things can become complicated. And I think what most people do is they plan a holiday with their partner that they're already going on, and then within that holiday they speak to the hotel and organise something. Or you can do what I did and you can speak to a local planner out there who can help facilitate things so that it's not necessarily done by the hotel, but they find a nice location in a nice spot, so it's kind of not part of something that you're already doing there. So for example, if you're going there and staying at the hotel, it's not sort of already there while you're at the hotel.
Yeah. And I guess that also comes down to budget and also what kind of proposal you think your partner would like, because some people would prefer a bigger setup and a bigger deal, and some people would prefer something really low key and chilled. Like
I mean, people like propose in their flats. People propose at their favorite local restaurant. I mean, there's people propose in the park. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I think you just need to find what means the most to you and also what means the most to your partner, and then just decide on that. And
also, I guess, thinking about logistics of budget, practicality in terms of getting them there if you want the surprise element, and I guess all the other factors involved in that. I think another thing is trying to integrate it as a surprise. I know you touched on that, but I think little things you can do. So for example, you said like if you were pretending that you were going to a friend's birthday, or if you'd been invited to like a work ball or whatever it is, just try and go the extra mile and like make a fake invite on Canva, or like make a fake email and send it and screenshot it and be like, oh look, we've been invited here, or my work have told me we have to go here and this is the dress code, or like whatever it is. I think those little touches just help to make it seem more realistic.
Yeah, I've heard of a holiday one where they got to the hotel, they asked the hotel to leave something in the room, that they'd want a surprise dinner or they'd want a surprise event, and then they dressed up, went to the event, and obviously the groom had, or the soon to be groom, had planned that all, which is nice. I think having a surprise element, personally, I think is always nice.
No, I agree. I think, again, depends on the kind of partner that you have.
Yeah.
But I think for most girls, and I don't want to generalize here, they do like that little element of romance and surprise, and not entirely expecting it.
Yeah.
In terms of then the next step, so you've picked venue, you've got ring, picked venue, figured out how to do a surprise. It's then making sure that they're proposal ready. And again, this will depend on the kind of partner that you have. But if it is someone that cares about outfit, nails, lashes and stuff, then having an event or holiday is an easy way to make sure that they are ready for that. Or having a sister involved or a friend involved that can like subtly encourage that. Being like,
so they have their the manicure done.
Yeah, and be like, let's go and get our nails done, or like whatever it is. I think those kind of little things, I'm sure, like I've actually met a couple of our brides have been like, oh, I had no idea, I wish I got my nails done before, or like a massive mess, which is fine, it's not a big deal. But I think if there's some way you can try and incorporate that working with a sister or a friend, I think it would be like a nice touch to add that.
I think the problem with this is that when you're trying to make it a surprise, and then all at the same time, the sister's getting involved saying, hey, why don't we go get our nails done? And, oh, we've won this free trip to here. Or if there's too many things going on which are not normal for you guys as a couple, then I think the surprise may...
Yeah, you've got to balance
come out of the bag.
You've got to balance it. But again, it comes back to how well you know your partner and like how much she would care about, or they would care about those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I think, generally speaking, again, not to generalise, but most girls for a holiday or a big thing will get their nails done, will probably get a new outfit and maybe lashes, and have that kind of stuff already done, so it makes it a bit easier for you. So the next thing, I think, it goes back to my whole old school traditional romance vibe, but I actually really think it's nice if the groom to be preps a speech to say when he proposes.
Yeah.
I know not everyone has to do it, and you can just do a whole "will you marry me" down on one knee.
Yeah.
But I think it's really nice. Again, similar to what I was saying about asking for the parents' permission, blessing, I think it'd be really nice to just give a whole little like spiel about how much you love them, like, your journey to get to this place, what you're excited for in the future, and just, I feel like it's just a really big milestone moment for most people. So I think it's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I made a speech. I'd written it down. I don't think at that point in time I would have been able to have memorized it and recited it, just because there's so many emotions, and you're just
it was
in
such
such
a nice
sort
speech.
of bubble that it's difficult to really kind of think logically and rationally.
Yeah.
And so I had it written down, but some people can say things after memorizing it, or just speak from the heart.
Yeah.
And I think you should definitely say some words. One thing that I would say though, is that this is the first of many speeches or public displays of affection that you're going to make in the wedding period. And if you're not a man of many words, or you're not that good with your words, if you say all your kind of cute stories during your proposal, and then you have your vows, and then you're making a speech at your wedding, like, you don't want to be saying the same thing over and over again. I appreciate the only person who's going to be all three of those things is your fiance, but you don't want to just be kind of regurgitating the same stuff, because then I think it can lose meaning. You just want to, I don't know, it's a personal preference. As long as you've got sort of different stories to tell and things to say, but if you just keep saying, you're the most special person in my life, I love you, you're my best friend, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then say that,
all
every few
nice
months for the
things
next
to
year.
say.
Yeah, I know, but I just think it might lose a bit of meaning if you keep saying it.
To me, I was actually weirdly thinking about this the other day. I think your most meaningful and deepest speech that you said to me was your proposal speech.
Like, you don't even remember. You were
I
like in
remember.
a world of your own.
No,
like,
I know. I was having an out of body experience, because the whole thing was such a shock that I couldn't fathom that you weren't on your night shift and you were here in Greece and on my family holiday. That whole thing was so, I couldn't take it in. But when the next day I read it back, and I've still got it, like the book and stuff that you read it from.
I was looking for that.
So for me, that was the most like heartfelt, deepest speech out of all, because you did obviously quite a few, like obviously vows, civil speech, and our destination speech. But that for me, that was like the deepest, most like rawest speech, or like thing to me, because I guess it was literally just us two there.
I'm a deep guy.
Huh?
I'm a deep guy.
But I feel like when people do vows, when you do other speeches, there's a bit more pressure to either make it not funny, but like be aware that people are listening, so you can't add too much in. And for your general speeches, your whole thing is being funny. So like I knew that your wedding speech wasn't going to be as deep as like a proposal speech.
Yeah,
so
I
I
do
think
make some good speeches.
yeah, exactly. But so I actually think you should, that is your time out of all of your wedding time. I personally think that is your time when it is just the two of you, unless you're doing private vows where you can just like completely pour your heart out. And I think if you are, again, know your partner, because they might not be into that, but if they are, I think they would really appreciate it if that's your one moment where you like just, I guess, summarize all the reasons you love them and how you're excited to start
All right,
this
I'm
new
sold.
chapter.
Okay.
Okay, and then I think the next point is kind of what we mentioned earlier and what we did is to, once the proposal is done, celebrate after, like have things going on afterwards that is just related to your engagement. Don't go straight into wedding planning. Have a few days either just yourselves, which is really nice, before you like tell everyone and call everyone, and then have a few days when you are back and just either celebrate with family, with friends, just take it in you two before it goes into like the wedding planning chaos.
Yeah. I mean, because we were abroad, right? So we had a few days on holiday for ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we didn't start planning anything for, what, like a month?
Yeah.
But I think we realised that we wanted to get civilly married
Yeah.
the year after. So
Yeah.
actually, we probably started maybe
Really
sooner than
soon,
most
yeah.
people, or probably sooner than we would have liked to,
Yeah.
just to kind of absorb everything. Yeah. And then we told our loved ones. You told a few other people as well.
Yeah.
Didn't need to be told. Basically, Priya went on my phone and started sending all the photos to everyone on my recent contacts for some reason, and then sent it to a work group that I'm in with about 100 people, all of whom I'd never met. It was so embarrassing. I had to leave the group and I never rejoined it.
Can I say, moral of that story is, don't be drunk on a swaying boat trying to send multiple group pictures, because
You say it as if that was me, that was you.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Moral of the story to myself.
Yeah.
Don't be drunk on a boat trying to send loads of pictures to multiple different groups. That was obviously a slip of the finger, but it's a funny story that we look back on now. So.
Yeah, and it was quite sweet actually. All these people I'd never met started messaging me saying congratulations, as if I genuinely wanted them to know that I just proposed. That was so embarrassing. So embarrassing.
Just don't get drunk on a boat, guys, after your proposal. But yeah, okay, fine. So there are all the steps. I think in terms of tips from a girl, just going forward, I would say I think it's really important to make it personal. Like, obviously you can have like a generically nice proposal, but try and put little things in that show that you understand your partner, or things that represent your relationship. So examples of friends of ours that have proposed that have done really sweet things have been like, one of our friends hired like a gallery, and then when they went in, each picture was like from a different part of their relationship and in order, and they walked around the gallery, like almost saw their whole relationship, and then they ended with a dinner, and the dinner was like each course was from a different favorite restaurant of theirs. So that was like a really personal, thoughtful proposal. So I think obviously
you know what's funny, that this is my friend who did this proposal, but this was long before I was planning to get married, nor I knew. And also at a time when I didn't really know that much about weddings or proposals. I have no recollection of this. I have no recollection. I know that there was something about food and different foods, but I don't actually remember what they did.
I remember it, and I remember thinking that's so thoughtful. Like, and even the fact that every course was from like one of their favourite restaurants, and they'd arranged for people to bring it in, or from like favourite, like really important date night restaurants of theirs. Like, I just thought that was so sweet to like show their relationship, and then also show like their dating life.
Was the food cold?
I don't know. I didn't go into the logistics. I'm sure they figured out how to heat it up. But something like that was like really sweet, and that was again just in London. So you don't always have to like go abroad to make it special. And I think even just other little elements like having people have made like scrapbooks to show your journey, having all your songs of your relationship playing, just things like that. I think just try and show that you've paid attention to like little things in your relationship.
Favorite flowers,
yeah.
I just came up with that.
So I think just things like that I think are really important, and I think girls really appreciate it for the most part. I think also have time to take it in before calling everyone. Like, some people literally as soon as you've got up from being on your knee, like people are already FaceTiming people, which I get, you're really excited, but just take a couple of hours. Like, after you proposed to me, we like had a couple of hours where we just like drank champagne and like watched The View, and then we like sounds really lame, but we like slow danced for a bit with the music.
But I think it's really tempting to tell people.
No,
right?
it is.
Because
You
you're
are
so
really
excited.
excited. No, 100%. But I'm so glad because we didn't have any signal on that cliff thing.
Yeah.
So actually, in a way, it worked really well that we just drank champagne and just did a little slow dance and like we're in our little bubble together. And like for me, that's one of my most special moments like of us.
Yeah.
So I think just have some time before you like are then going to call your whole phone book, which is obviously really exciting, but take some time. And I think for me personally, again, it's not for everyone. But if you know your partner is really into memories and like having photos and things like that, then I think about a photographer. And I know some people can be put off about the idea of them being really like invasive and like listening to your like proposal and stuff, but actually they can be really discreet and they can be like further away and like almost hidden in bushes or depending on where they are. And in some people's proposals I've known, they've been there almost all along as like a they've been in camouflage as like a tourist or like a regular
I've seen
person,
that,
and then they've actually been taking photos. So there are ways you can incorporate it where the photo or videographer, whoever you want, like aren't in your face, like listening to your personal words. But I think, yeah, for me that was really important. So I'm glad that we got some photos from that. Any tips from a guy?
Tips from a guy. I said one earlier in terms of who you're going to go ring shopping with. I think start planning earlier than you think. It's very easy to think, I've already found the place, so it's only going to take a month or so.
Yeah.
Everything takes a while. Making sure that your partner's free on that date, making sure that she has picked the right dress via her sister or friend, making sure that you've got permission, even the time it takes to develop the ring and design the ring. So my diamond guy, he made a mock-up of it. He 3D printed this sort of purple plastic ring so that I could see how it looked, because when you pick the diamond, or at least when I pick the diamond, you don't see it, you just see the characteristics of it. And then he kind of mounted it on a model ring, and then so I could see how it looked. And then I was like, it's a bit small, so I made it bigger. So make sure you've got enough time to do that. Take some time with your outfit as well. I'd say I'm quite a lazy shopper. It's quite easy for me to just kind of go on ASOS or some other website and just kind of buy something and think, okay, I'm just going to wear this. But I mean, second to your wedding and reception is probably the most important outfit you might wear.
Yeah,
I'd say.
Yeah.
So don't buy online, or if you are going to buy online, get it tailored. Like put it on, put the whole outfit on, see how you look.
Yeah.
Make sure you can actually like kneel down onto one knee.
Yeah,
make sure you've got the right shoes. Make sure you've got the right socks if you're on holiday and wearing some ankle socks, or those hidden socks.
Oh yeah, pop socks.
Those.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing the right socks right now. Yeah.
Anything about ring insurance?
Yes, I mean ring insurance is a big thing. Different ring insurance companies will have different policies. So for your ring, once I got the ring done, I remember thinking, actually, I'm taking this abroad. It's also not on your hand, so I feel like there's a risk of me losing it. And then I spoke to the reinsurance. They were like, look, especially if you're taking it out of the country, this needs to be implemented now. You are obviously allowed to take it out of the country because otherwise no person would be able to travel around the world with their ring. But yeah, have to get that before you leave and get that in advance. Shop around a little bit because different reinsurance companies won't insure above a certain price. And yeah, I think they said that when I went abroad with the ring, it had to be on my person at all times. So even when I was putting it through it couldn't be in my check bag, it had to be in my cabin baggage. And then even when it was going through the security thing, your heart starts to race. You're like, okay, this is going to invalidate my insurance. But then obviously, it's not. It has to go through the security check. But yeah, that's pretty much it from
Just make sure you get
make sure you get it.
Yeah.
Especially for kind of that period, because it's not on someone's hand.
Yeah.
So it's very easy it's a small box to just get lost.
I can't even imagine the stress you had carrying that around until the proposal.
Yeah,
I mean,
it wasn't that long. It was like a week, right? But the few days when I was
when you were abroad. And I think the last point that we speak about generally when it comes to wedding planning, but it also applies with proposal planning, is just try not to get too many opinions with it.
I agree. I think that's a good thing to take forward in all walks of life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way that I live my life. I don't ask too many people with different opinions, because you're just going to have different ideas about something which can be done in so many different ways.
Yeah.
Pick from, I guess, your side. Your side is like a friend who's going to help you, a friend who you trust, whose opinion you value, and then perhaps from the soon-to-be bride side opinion, a person whose opinion you value from there, and not to kind of speak to so many different people, because everybody will tell you their way's the best, that you have to do it abroad, or you have to get a lab-grown diamond, or you have to, you know, ask the parents in a certain way. Like there was so many different ways, and I appreciate we're also giving advice on this, but I think we're giving you a sort of broad overview of different ways things can be done, and how the way that we would have done things, or we did do things, and the way that we think that you can do things.
Yeah, no, I agree. So yeah, that's a good place to wrap it up. Okay, so I think that was a really helpful summary on proposals. Hopefully that's given you some good pointers to think about.
Or stressed everybody else out.
Or stressed everyone out, or multiple girlfriends are currently hopefully sending this to their boyfriends.
Hopefully we get like a whole flood of inquiries about proposal planning.
That'll be fun. I love planning proposals. I think adding your personality in is just so great. We do
My personality?
No, not your personality.
Oh,
the
okay.
couple's definitely not your personality. The couple's personality, i.e. the bride's personality. So we do proposal planning, so definitely do reach out if you need any help there. Otherwise, we will see you next week for our next episode of I'll Be There. Bye guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Please like, follow, subscribe for more.